Hello and welcome to Chilling With. My name is Tom Gaymor and I'm delighted to say that joining us at First 11 today is Williams F1 Esports driver Salih Zoom. And Salih, you have been busy doing all kinds of wonderful things over the last few weeks, maybe even the last few months with the coronavirus lockdown. I know that you are a four-time AOR F1 champ, but just tell us about your journey. How did you get into esports and gaming, and how long have you been doing it for?
Well, hi Tom, it's a pleasure to be here. So I started back in, I think it was 2016 when I decided to pick up a Thrustmaster wheel, and that's how I started. And me and my brother, we both got the same wheel and everything, and we bought the F1 2016 game, and pretty much got into it like that. Started doing AOR that year. And slowly, with esports coming in the next year, it came at the right time for us to get into it and join in since the first season it started.
So you're 24 years of age. You started with your brother, you said. So there's a bit of inter-family rivalry there, is there?
Yeah, there is. I forgot to mention that prior to all that, we've been racing on like Grand Prix 3, Grand Prix 4 since like the age of like 5, 6. So yeah, since the early 2000s, we've been competitive, doing sim racing like that in the household. But yeah, F1 2016, as soon as it arrived, we decided to get a wheel for it, and that's when the journey started.
So who's the most competitive, and who's got the bragging rights in terms of being the most successful?
I think, yeah, I'm quite humble when it comes to it, but yeah, it's me. I gotta say it now. For me, like we're both quick. Both qualifying and race, but I seem to have the edge on him all the time, and I am definitely the most competitive person there can be. So yeah, between us two, there's no challenge in the sense of who's more competitive, but definitely when it comes to pace, it's pretty close.
It looks as though you've got a state-of-the-art setup wherever it is you are.
Yeah, so I mean, in the last 4 or 5 years, I've been at uni, so I've kind of had my room to myself to do my studying and my esports by myself. But moving back home, I realized that way too much more stuff than when I first moved to uni. So it was only sensible to build a 10x10 shed and put all our sim racing stuff in there and practice in there together.
And here you are with your Williams top on, and you must look in the mirror sometimes when you're wearing that top and you think of the legacy, the heritage, the history behind that. We talked before we came on air about Schumacher, Ferrari. You've just mentioned Hakkinen and McLaren, but Williams very much figureheads of the sport in terms of their history as well. So it must be very special for you wearing that brand.
Yeah, no, 100%. Like Williams, for me, as much as I do like McLaren, or did like McLaren, Williams is still like this.
Did like it. I like how you put that in.
Yeah, Williams is a big team for me because, like, my dad, he used to be a massive Damon Hill fan, and same with Nigel Mansell as well. So it kind of ran in the family. And once when I was growing up, even playing on F1 97, like, seeing the Williams car, and then the livery change, like the red they had in the late 90s, all that, like it still doesn't hit me that I'm a part of this team. Like even going to the museum last month, seeing all the cars there, the cars I've grew up watching, the Montoya car, the Damon Hill car, the red 5 of Mansell and all that. Yeah, it's crazy, and it's kind of, it's like you said, you look in the mirror and you can't believe it still.
You started in karting, you moved through the ranks, and now here you are wearing Williams branding. You mentioned cost in terms of esports versus the real. Obviously, the cost is greatly reduced, but just give us an insight into how much it does cost, because I put the link back to Inner City London. There are a lot of questions that I get asked in terms of, well, how can I be involved in your sport? It doesn't always have to be the state-of-the-art equipment, does it? We see it in racing more often than not. You have to be in a certain car to be able to win a race. But the spectrum of equipment available to you in the sort of gaming and esports world is much greater, and the reliance less so in terms of what it is that you're actually using, and the playing field a lot more level because of that.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I'm grateful for the equipment I have now with all the sponsors providing us this. But yeah, when I started, for me, it was like the wheel I bought, I think it was about £250, and I could have gone cheaper with the 150, but I wanted something more durable than that's what I had, and that's all I needed. It came with pedals and everything, and that's what my AOR days consisted of, just that equipment for like 2 years, and that's how I managed to win my titles there. So yeah, £250 did the job, but nowadays we've got equipment which is far more expensive, much more better performance, but it's like you said, you don't really need the best of the best to be able to compete in esports. So as long as you've put the practice in, you've got the talent, I think whatever equipment you have, you should be able to make it.
So talking about the equipment and some of the competitions that you compete in those competitions, there's some real world drivers that quite frankly couldn't really lace your boots. What's it like to be able to race against such big and iconic names, names that you probably grew up watching in terms of their progression to Formula One? Lando, Max, Charles, George, for example, and now once you get on the esports or gaming platforms, they're just not at the races, really. They're close, and some real drivers are better than others, but compared to you guys, they're just not in the same room.
Yeah, I mean, well, with Charles, when I was back at my old team in Alpha Romeo Esports, I actually met Charles there, and this was about 2 years ago, and that was like, I think, the first ever time he jumped on a sim, and you know, he was having fun, that's for sure, but you can tell from his face how competitive he was and how he couldn't believe how far off he was from us. And I believe that's when he asked the team to provide him the equipment so he can start practicing then. So yes, Charles did the exhibition races this year, but I don't believe he just started this year. He started way before. So you can see the competitive edge on these drivers, like Lando and Max as well, have been doing iRacing for years. So yeah, like it's quite nice to be able to race these drivers and be quicker than them, because I think it would be a bit embarrassing for us if we were slower than them, because it's kind of what we do, what we train for. So it'll be like if you put us in their cars, in their real cars, and they'll destroy us. So yeah, it's quite a nice feeling.
Tell us a little bit about the differences between gaming and esports in your eyes.
For me, gaming is probably something I do without. Well, I say that, but I do get competitive in whatever I do, but it's something that I know that there's nothing on the line, like stuff like playing Call of Duty with my friends or my brothers, or just like playing Forza together with my brother, like on a controller or something like that. That's what I kind of class gaming. It becomes esports when you're being professional, you're racing for something, either if that's the prize or let's say for your profile. That's what I class as esports, like when it comes to being super competitive, practicing hours and hours for days to do it. And that's kind of how I separate it.
I was watching during lockdown Charles Leclerc's Twitch, and I think we spoke about it when his girlfriend was outside and she had to subscribe to his stream to try and get let back into the house because he couldn't hear her and the doorbell. Lando's brilliant as well. I watched George Russell. He was racing a truck. Did you see that? He was on the highway doing various different things. Do you Twitch or stream, or I'd be useless because I'm not funny. But that's another. How do you manage that, being the best in the world at something, all the pressure on your shoulders, and now you've got to stream as well and make everyone laugh and go from there. Lando's brilliant at it.
Yeah, I mean, I don't do it now because we're practicing now, so it's kind of like you don't want to show what you're doing to the guys. But yeah, before the season or after the season, it's always nice to do like lobbies with, like, let's say fans or like with your friends, and it's just great entertainment. It doesn't necessarily have to be F1, but yeah, you can do other stuff. And you saw George doing, like, was it Truck Simulator or whatever it was? That was quite funny with Charles and that. Yeah. Or like they were racing like old cars in F1, like, and Albon was getting pretty let's say, competitive with George, and they were like messing around sometimes, racing all the time, and Charles in there. So yeah, it's something that's again quite fun. It's a way to show people, like the viewers, like who you really are. You know, when you're racing behind the wheel in the competitive side in these events, you don't really get to see people don't get to see how we are. You just see us like robots, but like how you see F1 drivers behind the helmet. So yeah, on Twitch when you're streaming, you get to show who you really are, and yeah, it's a bit like doing a vlog, let's say, but it's live.
So back to the esports, 1 win, 2 podiums. Can you remember where your win was?
Yeah, of course, because when it's only 1 win, it's kind of easy to remember.
You don't forget those days. Did you celebrate afterwards?
Yeah, they actually showed it on TV. They didn't interview me, but they showed my celebration. So yeah,
awesome.
It was quite a manic one, let's say, and still remembered now.
Yeah, mega. And that was Hockenheim. And then, what's your favourite circuit?
The Hungaroring.
So you've had your win at Hockenheim, and your favourite circuit's not Hockenheim?
No. I mean, I still love driving.
What's your best result at the Hungaroring then?
We never raced there yet, but in
AOR
I won all of them. So
good.
For
That's a cool track, the Hungaroring.
It's like a roller coaster, but you have control of it, a bit like what Lewis Hamilton says about F1 cars. So yeah, the older days, the Hungaroring used to be even more relentless. Like you had shorter, the main straight was shorter, so you didn't get any time to rest. Whereas now, because it's a bit longer, you kind of have that main straight to rest. But once you turn 2, it's endless. It doesn't end. So for me, it's such a cool track.
And it's hot. You get hot in. Trust me, I've sat in a simulator. Crikey, I was sweating away. So those of you that don't think you get hot in a simulator, it's and you get the adrenaline rush as well. That your tongue, you get that dry mouth. You know, where you forget to swallow. So it's physical, and the feedback on that steering wheel is physical as well. Do you feel that around the circuits like the Hungaroring? I mean, do your arms get tired?
Yeah, no, I don't often get arms being tired, but you know, tracks like USA, Hungary, and all that, because it's just you're just turning all the time, and the full seatback, you kind of need it strong.
Yeah, that's heavy. That is heavy.
Yeah, so yeah, it's like that, and I don't know if you know, but like I think it was Charles said it when he was doing exhibition races early in the year, that he seemed to get more adrenaline in esports. No adrenaline, but more nervous in esports.
Yeah, you get that dry mouth.
Real life. Yeah. So yeah, it's kind of cool for them to say that.
Because the concentration is intense.
Yeah,
it's hard not to make a mistake.
You got to be on it all the time, otherwise, because everyone else is also on the limit. Like once you're a little bit off the limit, then that's when you get caught. So yeah, you got to be on the limit, fully focused all the time. Make sure you're not exhausted, and just go for it.
Right. Salih, you've been absolutely marvellous. A real insight into gaming and esports, and also your journey and successes as well. Tying that back to what we do at First 11, which is all about linking the likes of yourself with the fans, and having the fans be able to compete against you in a fun and innovative way. We've got first11fun.com. There will be directions as to how you can get involved. And what I mean by get involved is Salih's going to give us a little challenge. So you're going to set a lap. Have you chosen the track yet that you're going to set a lap time on?
Yeah, I would like to do Hungaroring. So
yeah, I'll do your best track if I was you. Because you're up against me as well.
Tough one, that.
Yeah, you'll need a calendar to time me. But so Salih's going to do a lap. I'm going to try and beat it, of which I'm going to get nowhere near. But on a positive, all of you at home are going to be able to try and beat his time as well. And then you will get just rewards for doing that if you manage to do it. So Salih Saltunç from Williams, you've been an absolute joy. It's been brilliant to hear from you. And we wish you all the very best with not just your lap, but also the rest of the season. That's what is left of it. Thank you.
Thank you very much.